Man is a tree. He's not like a tree. He is a tree. He's an eitz. The concept of eitz Chaim is man himself. He's a living tree. Eitz has a great gematria for today, because today is just a few days after Tu B'Shvat, the new year of trees. And the blessing for the year 775 comes from this year's Tu B'Shvat. Remember, there are 4 Rosh Hashonim. And there are Tu B'Shvat is the new year for trees, so the blessing for this year only comes in now. Eitz, Ayin, final Zadi, the final Zadi being 900 in finals, the Ayin is 70, so it's 970, which, as you learned in my previous videos, is the full spelling of Da'as. So the concept of an eitz has to do with Da'as. This will lead me into a beautiful concept here, that in the tree of life we must have both Keta and Da'as together, because in our bodies we have that Da'as. It resides in the throat, in the neck, and in the back of the head. Eitz Chaim, the book Eitz Chaim, the gematria for Eitz Chaim, fully spelt out, is Eitz as Ayin Zadeh, with the Zadeh spelled Zadeh Dalet Yud, that both those letters come out to 234, and Chaim comes out to be 538. Those two together are 772, plus 2 words, plus 1 for all is 775, and that's the year that we're in now. 5,775. Eitz Chaim relates to this year. Now, Eitz Chaim is the body. The eitz is the body, living tree. So when we do poses, yoga type poses, we enter into the special blessing for this year. Now, as you know, I feel that the shoulder stand, the mother pose, the candle pose, the queen pose is higher than the headstand. Even though the headstand looks like a higher pose because you're on the crown chakra, upside down, inverted, hipuk. It always looks, and it's called the king's pose. I've received that the queen's pose, the inverted pose, that instead of keeping the head in a vertical manner, keeps the head in a horizontal manner up to the shoulders, and then there's a verticality from the shoulders up. So the shoulder stand is head is in a horizontal position rather than a vertical position. This same thing happens in mezuzah. In that horizontal position, we have on the floor Das. Keta still receives, but Das is brought to its fruition. The energy comes back into Das, the neck. This still has relationship to Keta, but it's Das here that gets its focus. This shoulder stand is called a candle. One of the meditations you're supposed to do while you're doing the shoulder stand is to feel that you're a candle, giving light to everybody who sees this candle. In yoga, it's called the throat chakra. It has enlightened speech, but it's also enlightened silence. And you become a candle, a beacon of light for others to see you. This meditation is that you should be seen by your example and give off light. It's a beautiful Shabbos pose, a Yortzeit candle pose, a Hanukkah candle pose. Be a candle, a ner. A ner. Neshama and Ruach is Roshei Tivo of ner. And what's the gematria of ner? Fully spelled out. Nun, 106. Resh, 500. I don't use the yud in the resh here. That's 606, and that's etzmotz. Etzmotz, which is also a tree. If you take off the etz and the mavet, it's the tree of death. As a hipuch, that's the tree of life. The tree of life is shown here as the ner. If you add these, that's 606, etzmotz. If you add the 5 letters of nun and resh, you get to 611. That's Torah. If you add 2 more for the 2 names, you get to 613. It's the number of mitzvot. So when you're doing the candle pose, please meditate that you're a ner, a candle, an etzmotz level, an etz mavet. You're the 611 Torah. You're the 613 mitzvots. You're a shining example to others in this pose. Some yogis only do this pose, and as you advance, this is the only pose needed. It's a hipuk, an inversion. Some of the other gematria of this is Etz Chaim. In itself is 168 and 68 for Chaim. That's 228 plus 2 words plus 1 for all. That's 231. That's the same gematria as Aleph and Samach. Aleph 111, Samach 120, that's 231. That's the number of letter combinations there are in the 22 letters, taken 2-letter combinations. The Roshei Tivo of that Aleph Samach is Aleph Samach Ein Sof, and that Hipuk reversal is Samach Aleph, Sitra Akra. And when one does inversions, one is entering into the Sitra Akra. That's why they go deeper than the standing pose. It reverses gravity. It changes your perspective of thinking. Das enters in the shoulder stand. Only Keta enters in the headstand, and Das is absorbed. Here we have a parallelism between Keta and Das. Remember that Das, fully spelt out, is 970, which includes as its din Malkus, which is 496. Malkus as the feminine, as the mother pose, has been reabsorbed back into Das to get its din made into Kedusha. Everything is learnt from the mother pose, the candle pose. That's the tree pose. It's a reverse tree. It's called all limb pose in Sanskrit, Hindu. All limbed. Limbs of a tree. All limbs. Because this is the real tree of life pose. Candle pose. The sadhus sometimes only do one posture for a long period of time. Many of them do this. Mother pose, candle pose. A lot of gematria here. And let me look at some of the things that I've had, some notes. I like the idea here that this only occurred to me after Tu Bishvat. Because Tu Bishvat is the new year for trees. And this Eitz Chaim only appeared now. And the gematria of this year is revealed in Eitz Chaim. So that's why this is a focus right now. And the mother pose is a focus right now. There's other gematria that I'll talk about in other videos. But for now, the Eitz Chaim is the meditation for this year. The Eitz Chaim as a reversal of the world in the shoulder stand, where the energy reverts into Das as a parallelism to Keta. So, candle pose and its meditations is a great meditation and function for this year of 775.